bow tie, but Zach, thank you. Thanks for your friendship as well. Thank you for being a great leader. You were the penultimate questioner this day, and now we have the ultimate questioner. And the gentlewoman from Texas, Mrs. Dela Cruz, is recognized.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And like many of my colleagues, I want to say thank you for your leadership. You have inspired me to forge forward even in difficult waters and find common ground, not only with the people on the other side of the aisle, but sometimes with our own colleagues on this side of the aisle. And what I have really admired about you was your sense of humor during not only our troubled storms, but sometimes our difficult discussions right here in this committee, here in our committee hearings. And so you always lightened the mood with your sense of humor. You inspired me to find common ground and be able to work in the spaces that we can find agreement with. And with that being said, I thank you for pushing forward and supporting South Texans and especially our veterans. I feel very honored that today we're going to pass off the House floor a piece of legislation that you actually promoted forward and that was near and dear to our heart, which was and still is our veterans. And so today, working with you, we're going to ensure that our nation's disabled veterans have fair access to housing. And I know this was something very special for you. And so I am so thankful that you've given me the opportunity to press forward in that area. So God bless you, Mr. Chairman. God bless your family. And you and your sense of humor will certainly be missed. With that being said, I thank you to the witnesses. Today is a special and a sad day for us, but we must move forward to important topics like these that we're discussing today. I will start with Mr. Ward and Mr. Coley. We know that regulatory barriers can often disproportionately and negatively affect smaller businesses, which make up 99% of all businesses and employ half of the country's workforce. That being said, given the importance of small business growth to overall job creation, can you describe how benefit firms like yours provide help to the end consumer or the end users as well?
Ms. Congresswoman, thank you. I would say that one of the things America does extremely well is make it easy to start a company. And I've been in other countries around the world where it's much, much harder to start a company. And the more that we can do as policymakers to continue to reduce the friction and cost of starting companies, finding capital, the more that small businesses can thrive. And we're not talking just venture-backed startups, but small businesses of all forms that need access to equity capital, access to debt capital, access to operating capital. Capital is the lifeblood of small business, and the lower cost of accessing capital and starting companies will create more entrepreneurs in the United States.
Thank you for the question. The thing I would add to that is, in addition to lowering the cost of starting businesses, I would also look to make it easier for international capital for our allies to actually come in and invest in the country, into the startups. We actually see there's a lot of demand for it within the public side. You regularly see investors across the world investing in the U.S. public markets, and we should make it a lot easier for them to invest in the U.S. private markets as well.
Thank you. As a small business owner myself, I started from humble beginnings, and it was because I had access to capital that allowed me to open my first business. I remember an ornament business at the mall with $20,000, and I thank my community bank for allowing me that opportunity because they did give me access to capital and gave me the first olive branch to say, let's see what you got. And only in America do we have that great opportunity. Thank you so much. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back, and I thank you for your kind words as well. And I'd like to thank you all for your testimony. I'd like to thank the panel for